It was just past midnight when I walked into our bedroom, the faint hum of the AC mixing with the blue glow of Emily's laptop. Our two-bedroom house in a Denver suburb, creaky hardwood floors, a backyard I hadn't mowed in weeks, and a mortgage I was grinding to cover, felt more like a checkpoint than a home lately. I'd spent the day wrangling subcontractors at a construction site, my boots still dusty, my shoulders tight from the grind. Emily was sprawled on the bed, earbuds in, her face lit up like she was in her own universe. She didn't even glance up when I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. I kept my voice low, steady. "You still up?" Her eyes stayed glued to the screen. "With you around?" she said, her voice sharp, dripping with sarcasm. "I'm in my earbuds, Jake, hinting as hard as I can." She said it with a smirk, like she was tossing a dart. Her words hit like a jab to the ribs. Hinting? So I'm the problem now? I stood there, feeling the sting but keeping my cool. I remembered when she used to tug me onto the bed, laughing, stealing my fries while we watched dumb movies. Now she was building walls with earbuds. I tilted my head, my tone calm, but with a bite. "Got it, Em. You're hinting I'm the problem. So let me hint back. I don't sleep next to someone who acts like I'm crashing their party. And where I go, I don't come back. Not even if you kill that light." I said it restrained, but every word landed like a dart. Her hands froze on the keyboard, just for a split second. No comeback, no glance, but her fingers twitched like she'd been caught. I grabbed my pillow, my mind clear. She wants to play gatekeeper. I'm not begging for a key. I walked out, shutting the door, firm, not loud, like a period at the end of a sentence. That was the first crack. Emily and I had been married 5 years, living in this modest house with a view of the Rockies on a good day. I'm a project manager for a construction firm, pulling 12-hour days to keep sites on track. My mornings start at 5:30 a.m., coffee, emails, then out the door to deal with delayed shipments or pissed-off foremen. I'm back by 7 p.m., sometimes later, handling bills, fixing the leaky faucet, keeping the house running. Last month it was the water heater. This week, the garage door. Emily's a graphic designer, works from home, her laptop her lifeline. We used to cook together in our cramped kitchen, laughing over burnt burgers or arguing about who made better guac. Now, I'm lucky if she looks up from her screen long enough to say my name. The house feels like a museum, everything in place, but nobody's really living in it.
The next morning, I was up early, brewing coffee in the kitchen, the smell of dark roast cutting through the quiet. I was scrolling through emails about a botched rebar order when Emily shuffled in, still in her oversized hoodie, hair a mess, phone in hand. She didn't say good morning, just grabbed a mug and poured herself coffee, acting like I was part of the counter. "Sleep okay?" I asked, my voice neutral, testing the waters. "Fine," she said, flat, eyes on her phone. Then, without looking up, she added, "Went to Sarah's last night after you stormed out. You cool with me crashing there sometimes? I need to breathe, you know." She said it casually, but there was a smug edge in her tone, and she yawned dramatically, stretching like she was bored. Her yawn hit harder than her words. She's not just dodging it, she's performing. I set my mug down slow, raising an eyebrow, my jaw tight but my voice steady. "Breathe," I said, sharp but calm. "If being around me makes it hard to breathe, Em, you're in the wrong house. Normal people don't need to escape their spouse to catch air." I said it with a half smile, but it cut like a blade.
She looked up, her lips curling into that half smirk she used when she thought I was overreacting. "It was a joke, Jake. Chill." She said it with a dismissive wave, her voice mocking, then yawned again, scrolling her phone like I was background noise. I leaned against the counter, holding her gaze, my voice low, sarcastic. "A joke? You're yawning like I'm a TED Talk you didn't sign up for. You've got a whole house to breathe in. Don't act like I'm crowding you when I'm gone 12 hours a day, fixing your car, paying your Wi-Fi. Or is that crowding too?" I said it with a smirk, laying out facts like a ledger. She rolled her eyes, muttering, "You're so sensitive."
Her voice dripped with sarcasm as she kept scrolling. Sensitive? I laughed, short and cold. Nah, I'm just not here for your one-woman show. I'm out there keeping this place running while you're breathing at Sarah's. Keep dodging, Em, and you'll be dodging alone. I said it with a raised eyebrow, my voice hard, deliberate. What's that supposed to mean? She asked, her tone sharper, defensive, like she was daring me to escalate. Exactly what I said, I replied, my voice cold, cutting. I'm not your audience. You want to check out? I'm not begging you to stay checked in. I've got a site to run, so figure out what you're doing. I'm not waiting for your script. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door, my mind racing. She wants to play cold? I'll show her ice. I walked out, leaving her staring, her yawn stuck in her throat.
A couple of days later, I got home from work, bone-tired after a 12-hour day dealing with a delayed concrete pour. My boots were caked with site dust, my shoulders aching from hauling plans across the lot. The house was quiet, except for the faint hum of Emily's laptop from the living room. She was on the couch, legs tucked under her, some rom-com blaring on Netflix. I dropped my keys on the counter, grabbed a soda from the fridge, and sat across from her, leaving space. "How's your day?" I asked, my voice light, giving her a chance to meet me halfway. She didn't look up. "Can we just sit quietly for once?" she said, her voice clipped, irritated, like I was interrupting her show. I let out a short laugh, leaning back. "Quietly? Sure thing, but not next to someone who acts like I'm crashing her private screening." I stood up, grabbing my soda, my voice calm but sharp. "You want silence? You got it, just not with me playing your extra." I said it with a half smile, but the edge was clear. Her head snapped up, eyes narrowing. "What's that supposed to mean, Jake?" She said it defensively, her voice rising. I kept my tone even, but there was steel in it. "Exactly what I said. I'm done chasing you for a conversation. I work my ass off, keep this place running, and you act like I'm the one in your way. You want to talk, you know where I am, but I'm not sitting here like a prop in your life." I said it firmly, my eyes locked on hers. She scoffed, her voice laced with irritation. "You're so dramatic. I just want to relax for 5 minutes without you hovering." I raised an eyebrow, setting my can down. "Hovering? Let's break it down, Em. I'm gone 12 hours a day, fixing your leaks, paying your Wi-Fi so you can binge that show. If that's hovering, you're welcome to try it solo. See how much you like relaxing when the bills pile up." I said it with a smirk, my voice low, dripping with sarcasm. She gripped her laptop, her voice rising. "You're twisting this. I'm not saying you don't do stuff. I just need space sometimes. Why is that so hard for you to get?" I leaned forward, my voice calm but cutting. "Space? You've got a whole house, Em. You're not locked in a closet. If you need to run to Sarah's to breathe, that's not about space. That's about you checking out. And I'm not here to be your backup plan while you figure out what you want." I said it slowly, deliberately, letting the truth sink in. Her smirk faded, replaced by a flicker of something. Guilt, maybe, or just surprise. "You're making this bigger than it is," she said, her voice quieter but still defiant. "Maybe," I said, standing up, my tone cold. "I'm not the one making it small. You want to play like I'm the problem, go for it. Just don't expect me to clap for the performance." I walked out, shutting the door to the guest room behind me. Not hard, just enough to make a point. That night I slept in the guest room. No yelling, no drama, just a choice. If she wanted to treat me like an intruder, I wasn't begging to stay. A week later, I tried to break the ice. Not because I was desperate, but because I wanted to see if there was anything left to save. Emily was in the living room, scrolling on her phone, the TV on mute. I sat across from her, keeping my tone light. "Hey, how about we get out of here for a weekend? Chicago, Virginia Beach, wherever. Just us. No screens, no noise." I picked those places for a reason. Chicago was where we went for our first anniversary, laughing over deep dish pizza. Virginia Beach was her dream spot, somewhere she'd always talked about visiting. I was throwing her a lifeline, hoping she'd grab it. She didn't look up, just kept swiping. "You sure we're even still a couple?" she said, her voice flat, like she was tossing it out to see what I'd do. She said it with the dismissive shrug, her tone cold, like she was talking about strangers. I leaned back, a laugh catching in my throat. "She's really going there?
It was almost funny, her acting like our marriage was a casual question, like she hadn't spent years wearing my ring. I nearly laughed because it was so absurd, like she thought she could rewrite us with one line. Instead, I shook my head, my tone light but cutting. Damn, Em, that's your move? Throwing that out like it's nothing? I was sure, right up until you said that. I said it with a smirk, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Her eyes flicked up, just for a second, but she didn't respond. I stood up, grabbing my keys. Let me know when you figure out what you want. I'm not holding my breath. I said it calmly, but the edge was sharp. I walked out, thinking, if she's testing me, she's about to fail. The tension spiked at a neighborhood barbecue a few days later. Our cul-de-sac threw these every summer. Grills smoking, kids chasing each other, neighbors swagging stories over lemonade. Emily and I showed up, but she was glued to Sarah, her best friend who's always got a snarky comment ready. I was talking to our neighbor Tom about his new F-150 when Emily walked over, her smile tight, performative. Sarah trailed behind, sipping her drink, smirking. "Jake, you telling everyone how hard you work again?" Emily said, her voice loud, laced with a fake laugh that carried across the yard. Sarah snorted, adding, "Yeah, Jake, we get it. You're the hero of the construction site." She said it with a mocking grin like she was egging Emily on. A few heads turned, and Tom shifted uncomfortably. I turned to Emily, keeping my tone calm but sharp. "Nah, Em, just talking trucks. But since you brought it up, you want to tell everyone how you bailed on dinner last week? Or how you need to breathe every time I walk in the room?" I said it with a half smile, my voice steady, but it landed like a jab. Emily's smile faltered, her eyes narrowing. "It was a joke, Jake. God, you're so serious." She said it loudly, playing to the crowd, but her voice had a nervous edge. I stepped closer, my voice low, cutting. "A joke? You've been joking for months, Em, bailing on dinners, dodging me, acting like I'm crowding your vibe. Maybe it's time you find a new audience, because I'm not laughing." I said it with a smirk, my eyes locked on hers. Sarah jumped in, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "Wow, Jake, lighten up. It's a barbecue, not a courtroom." I turned to Sarah, my voice cold, deliberate. "And you're what, her hype woman? Stay in your lane, Sarah. This is between me and my wife." I said it firmly, my gaze shifting back to Emily. Emily's face reddened, but she doubled down, her voice sharp. "You're embarrassing me in front of everyone." I held her gaze, my tone icy. "You embarrassed yourself when you decided to make me the punchline. You want to play like that? Do it somewhere else. I'm here for the ribs, not your drama." I said it with a dry laugh, turning back to Tom, picking up our conversation like nothing happened. Emily stormed off with Sarah, and I didn't follow. Inside, I thought, she wants to make a scene, she can deal with the fallout. The next escalation came at a work event a week later. My company was hosting a client dinner at Morton's, a steakhouse downtown, and I'd invited Emily to come along. It was a chance to show her my world, maybe bridge the gap. I texted her the details. Dinner at 7, Morton's, wear something nice. She'd replied, "Okay, I'll be there." I spent the day prepping with my team, feeling a flicker of hope. Maybe she'd show up and we'd find some common ground. By 7:15, I was at the restaurant, chatting with my boss, Karen, and a few clients. No Emily. I checked my phone. Nothing. By 7:30, I texted her, "You coming?" No reply. At 8, she finally texted, "Got caught up with a project. Sorry." No call, no heads up, just a blow-off. Karen noticed me check my phone and raised an eyebrow. "Everything okay, Jake?" "Yeah," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "Just my wife reminding me she's got better plans." I said it with a dry laugh, but inside, I was done. She wants to ghost me in front of my colleagues? That's a choice. When I got home, Emily was on the couch, laptop open, some show playing. I dropped my keys on the counter, my voice calm but hard. "Nice move, Em. Ditching the client dinner I invited you to. Real classy." I said it with a smirk, my tone dripping with sarcasm. She looked up, her voice defensive. "I told you, I got caught up with work. It's not a big deal." I leaned against the counter, my voice low, sharp. "Not a big deal? I asked you to show up for one night, Em. One night to be part of my world.
You couldn't even send a text to warn me? You think that's respect? Or is work just code for Sarah's couch? I said it with a raised eyebrow, my tone cutting. She rolled her eyes, her voice rising. You're making this about you. I have a life too, Jake. I laughed, short and cold. A life? You mean dodging me, bailing on dinners, and acting like I'm your landlord? That's not a life, Em. That's you running from one. You want to live solo? Just say it. I'll make it easy. I said it with a smirk, my voice steady, sarcastic. She stared at me, her voice quieter now. You're twisting this again. Nah, I said, my tone cold. I'm just calling it like I see it. You've been checking out for months. I'm done waiting for you to check back in. I walked to the guest room, shutting the door behind me. Inside, I thought, she wants to play games? I'm changing the rules. A few days later, I was at Rusty's, the local bar, with Mike, my buddy from work. He's a site foreman, big guy with a laugh that shakes the room. We were grabbing wings and sodas, talking about the Broncos choking against the Chiefs, when my phone buzzed. Another text from Emily. Out with Sarah. Don't wait up. I showed it to Mike. He raised an eyebrow, chewing on a wing. She's pulling that card again? What's her deal, man? I leaned back, sipping my soda. Her deal is she thinks she can keep me on a leash while she does whatever. I'm done being the guy who waits. I said it with a dry laugh, my voice hard. I leaned against the counter, my voice low, sharp. Not a big deal. I asked you to show up for one night, Em. One night to be part of my world. You couldn't even send a text to warn me? You think that's respect? Or is work just code for Sarah's couch? I said it with a raised eyebrow, my tone cutting. She rolled her eyes, her voice rising. You're making this about you. I have a life too, Jake. I laughed, short and cold. A life? You mean dodging me, bailing on dinners, and acting like I'm your landlord? That's not a life, Em. That's you running from one. You want to live solo? Just say it. I'll make it easy. I said it with a smirk, my voice steady, sarcastic. She stared at me, her voice quieter now. You're twisting this again. Nah, I said, my tone cold. I'm just calling it like I see it. You've been checking out for months. I'm done waiting for you to check back in. I walked to the guest room, shutting the door behind me. Inside, I thought, she wants to play games? I'm changing the rules. A few days later, I was at Rusty's, the local bar, with Mike, my buddy from work. He's a site foreman, big guy with a laugh that shakes the room. We were grabbing wings and sodas, talking about the Broncos choking against the Chiefs, when my phone buzzed. Another text from Emily. Out with Sarah. Don't wait up. I showed it to Mike. He raised an eyebrow, chewing on a wing. She's pulling that card again? What's her deal, man? I leaned back, sipping my soda. Her deal is she thinks she can keep me on a leash while she does whatever. I'm done being the guy who waits. I said it with a dry laugh, my voice hard.
Mike nodded, wiping sauce off his chin. Good call. My ex pulled that crap, kept testing me, seeing how far she could push. You don't set boundaries, they walk all over you. You're doing the right thing, man. She's got to learn actions have consequences. Yeah, I said, my tone firm. She's about to find out I don't bend. Inside, I thought, she wants to run? I'm not chasing. The final straw came a week later. I got home early and heard Emily and her sister, Laura, in the kitchen thinking I was still at the site. Laura is a nurse, blunt as a hammer, always calls it like she sees it. I paused in the hallway, catching their conversation. He's always doing stuff, Emily said, her voice low but sharp, like he expects a medal for it. It's exhausting, Laura. I feel like I owe him something every time he lifts a finger. Laura didn't answer right away. When she did, her voice was calm, almost stern. Em, you're acting like a teenager. Jake's out there working 12-hour days, keeping this house together, and you're complaining he's too much? You're going to lose a good guy if you keep this up. You're not seeing what you've got. He's not controlling you, he's carrying you. Emily scoffed, but it was weak. Whatever, I just need room to be me, you know? I'd heard enough. I walked in, rucksack in hand. They both froze, Laura's eyes widening, Emily's face going pale. I didn't yell, didn't need to. I pulled my wedding ring off, set it on the table between them. The clink was louder than any shout. I moved deliberately, sliding the ring off my finger with a slow, steady pull like I was shedding a weight I'd carried too long. "I notice a lot," I said, looking straight at Emily, my voice steady, cold. "Used to think it was worth putting up with. Not anymore. If my effort feels like a leash to you and my loyalty pisses you off, I'm done carrying that weight. You're free, Em, and so am I." I said it calmly, but every word was a hammer. Emily's mouth opened, her voice shaky. "Jake, it's just a conversation." She said it desperately, her eyes darting to Laura. I held her gaze, my tone like steel. "Conversations are for understanding. You're not trying to understand me, you're talking about me behind my back. That's not a conversation, it's a betrayal." I said it slowly, deliberately, letting it sink in. Laura stayed quiet, her eyes flicking between us. Emily reached for my arm, her voice rising. "Wait, you're blowing this out of proportion." I stepped back, out of her reach. 10 minutes, I said, my tone flat, final. "You either pack and go, or I do, but we're not sharing this space anymore." I said it with a cold edge, my eyes locked on hers. She started talking fast, words tripping over each other. "Jake, come on, let's just talk about this." "Talk?" I cut her off, my voice low but sharp. "You've been talking to Laura, to Sarah, to anyone but me. You bailed on dinner, ghosted me at my work event, made me the punchline at the barbecue. I'm done being your punching bag. You want out? There's the door. You want me gone? I'm already packed." I said it with a smirk, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Laura finally spoke, her voice soft but firm. "Em, he's right. You've been pushing him away for months, acting like he's the problem. You can't be shocked when he draws a line." Emily's face crumpled, her voice breaking. "I didn't mean it like that, Jake. I don't know what I'm doing." I looked at her, my voice calm, final. "You knew exactly what you were doing. You just didn't expect me to call your bluff. That's on you." I slung my rucksack over my shoulder, the weight of it light compared to what I was leaving behind. I packed it deliberately. Jeans, a few shirts, my work boots, each item folded with precision like I was closing a chapter. As I walked out, the door clicking shut behind me, I felt a rush of clarity, like stepping into fresh air after years in a stuffy room. I'm done carrying her weight. Time to carry my own. A week later, my phone buzzed. Emily's name on the screen. "I didn't want it to end like this," her text read. I stared at it for a second, my jaw tight. She's still fishing for a reaction. I deleted it without replying, thinking, "You don't get to rewrite the ending, Em." She wanted a response, not a resolution. I wasn't playing. I moved into a one-bedroom apartment downtown, close enough to walk to work. Clean, quiet, mine. My days are simple, up at 5:30, coffee, site meetings, gym, maybe a burger with Mike at Rusty's. I'm not looking back, not second-guessing. Emily's still out there, posting stories with some new guy, captions about finding herself. A month ago, she tagged me in an old photo of us at a Broncos game, like it was an accident. Then she liked a picture from 3 years back, me with a fish I caught in Wyoming. I saw it, didn't respond. Respect doesn't come back, not even with a double tap. 2 months later, I ran into her at a coffee shop near Larimer Square. She was alone, no Sarah, looking tired, her smile forced. She saw me, froze, then tried to play it cool. "Jake," she said, her voice too bright, almost nervous. "You look good. Can we talk? Just, catch up?" She said it with a hopeful lilt, her eyes searching mine. I grabbed my coffee, my voice calm, steady. "Catch up? What's there to catch up on, Em? You made your choices, ditching dinners, ghosting me, talking behind my back. I'm not your pen pal." I said it with a dry laugh, my tone cold but controlled. Her eyes welled up, her voice cracking. "I messed up, Jake. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was confused." I held her gaze, my voice low, final. "You weren't confused when you bailed on me. You weren't confused when you made me the bad guy in front of everyone. You meant every move, Em. You just didn't expect me to play better. That's on you."
I said it with a smirk, my tone sharp, cutting, like a blade sealing the end. She opened her mouth, but no words came. I turned and walked out, the door swinging shut